Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday night live stream here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. Hopefully everyone is doing well this evening. Tonight we're going to continue to work on our hacksaw frame. So far we have gotten done to this point right here. We've got a lot more work to do on this portion before we can get it bent down. So hopefully we can do that this evening. But first and foremost, I need to actually upset some material here and rework this square shoulder a bit more. I just recently got back from a blacksmithing class that I taught down in Goshen, Ohio. I did a floral forms class down there over this past weekend, and so I did not get around, and well, it's been like a week since I've been home, so I haven't gotten around to doing all that off camera. So lucky you all, you get to see it this evening yourselves firsthand. So we'll start off with getting this thing, we'll get this thing warmed up, and we'll see how Jessica's doing this evening. How are you doing, Jessica?
Hi everybody, I'm doing good. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. I see quite a few of our regular names and a few newbies as well, so thanks. We have JR Forging says he's back. We are. Gordon Farmer Forge, early as always, of course. Walt Perkhurst, hello. And Wiley Rook Bladeworks, he can count to 3.
All right. Well, good to have everyone in the house this evening. Glad to have you in the shop here while we work. I've changed the camera angle a little bit, as you guys can probably see. I tried to tilt it a little bit more towards so you can see the fire. A bunch of guys were kind of whining about that, so that you miss seeing the fire, so I shifted it over a little bit. This here bothers my OCD though to no end, because that sign there should be in the center of the frame because it's centered with the anvil. Should be centered with the anvil in the center of the frame. But you know, we'll deal with it just to make you all happy out there. One thing I plan on doing to fix that in the future is I actually plan on getting a different lens that has a wider angle. They call it a rectilinear lens, and so it's a wide angle lens, but it doesn't squeeze down the corners. So it's not trying to become a fisheye, basically. So when I walk to one side, it won't look like I'm getting compressed and then coming back big and then walking to the other side and getting compressed. You know, like maybe like a GoPro would look or something like that. So hopefully I can get one of those lenses. They're fairly costly. At some point I plan on getting that lens, and that way that'll be on the main camera as you see it here. And I can tell just a little bit that some people are sending some super chats already, so let's acknowledge those and just say a big thank you. Thank you for those.
The first one was from Island Metal Forge. It was a mustache super sticker. Thank you, Yames.
Thank you, Yames.
And also Stephen Watkins says Minion Smithy is in the house.
Woohoo! Minion Smithy is in the house. Was he the other super chat?
Yep,
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Greatly appreciate it.
And of course, Gordon Farmer's Forge, he says, sorry again for the early super chats.
Don't worry about those early super chats. It's always good when someone's depositing money into Roy's Bank of Trust. It works great. Thank you, Gordon, for those. It's kind of fun. You know, I'd be in the shop and working on something, and I change that to a certain color, might be filming a video, then all of a sudden the color changes on me all of a sudden. It's like, what the? I'm like, didn't I just set that thing to blue? And it's like, turns off whatever other color comes in with Super Chat. So it's a lot of fun. It's like one of those fun little surprises that technology gives you sometimes that you weren't necessarily anticipating. And in this case, it's a good thing. Sorry we were a little bit late this evening. I'll go ahead and get into that while we're still waiting on that to heat up. Sorry we were a little bit late this evening. We had recently just upgraded a good friend of mine, Richard Krim. He took and hooked us up with upgrading our laptop's hard drive for us. But obviously with that, there's always a bunch of issues that come later with cloning over stuff and doing things like that with the hard drive. So he's been working diligently on that to get us back into shape. So had a bunch of extra testing and other stuff that we had to do to get in good shape for the stream this evening. So hopefully you all join us, and sorry it's a little bit later. So that means we're gonna run a little bit later, but hopefully we can keep this to 2 hours. We'll see.
Augie Zenner says, Jess is going to get really hot being right above the fire like that, LOL.
It'll warm the buns.
Thank you, Rusty Hubgap Forge, for the $20 super chat.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Barnaby Sanchez, good evening to you as well. And Justin Ray, welcome.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. So you're going to see me pacing back and forth, checking on the metal. It's a blacksmith's life. This is what we do. I like to show things off. I kind of debated with it. It's a fairly big piece of material to bring up to heat. I was kind of thinking like, just get in there and get it hot, and that way I can just start off right off the gate and get right on it as soon as we start going live. But then again, I also like to be able to show what progress we've made since. This stream will be a little bit more on the lackadaisical side. Like I said, just got back into town, so I really haven't got a whole lot of stuff prepped and planned for this. I've been playing catch up ever since I got back into town. So, story of my life. I plan on stuff like, yeah, I'll have that done, no problem, I'll get it done, and this will work, and that'll connect, and then Murphy happens somewhere in there, and then I don't get as done or as quickly as I thought I was going to get things done. That does not occur. So some of you can probably sympathize with that just a little bit, I would imagine. It's that we plan too much, and then we end up just really being inefficient at everything we're doing instead of being super efficient at just a few things. So, but yeah, it was a good class. Oh, by the way, if you're here, there will also be some door prizes for you being here that we'll get into a little bit later. I've got some sticker packs to give away. I've got a pair of scrolling tongs to give away, or scrolling tong kit, like a kit tongs to give away. Also a flint and steel striker kit, and some wolf head tong clips as well that I've made up. So we'll have kind of a cool little thing. We'll just give those away periodically and at random to whoever's here commenting in the comment section. So be sure to do so. Tell a friend, subscribe, all that jazz.
Rob Cornelius said, great class over the weekend. The wife loved the rose.
Awesome. Rob, you did a great job. I'm glad the wife loved the rose. Rob has been one of both Rob Cornelius and Rob Huff. I almost said Ho, but it's not Ho. Rob Huff and Robert Cornelius. They have been some of my biggest supporters down there at Goshen, taking almost every class that I've taught so far down there at Goshen Historical Society, down just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. I greatly appreciate both of you very much for doing that. So I can't see Rob Huff if he's in the chat, but he might show up later. Good. Both of you gentlemen did excellent, and look forward to seeing you at the class in the fall. While we're at it, might as well take and put that up, Jessica. Let's put up the little commercial screen there, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So, I will be teaching a skillet making class in the fall. All the information and details should be up on the screen. I don't know if it is or not yet, but it'll be at the end of November, so just right after Thanksgiving. And it's going to be a weekend class, a 2-day class. We're going to be teaching skillets. And so not only will we go over making a tool to make the skillets, hopefully that everybody can go away with, but we will also be making the skillets themselves for the skillet, Christmas skillet class here is the way we're going to call it. I used to make skillets. I've probably made, I don't know, 100, 200 of them maybe. And the amount of time I was working on skillets when I was selling them myself. So they're a fun thing to make, and they're not as hard as you might assume. They seem difficult at first. They might seem like a complex shape, but they're really not. Once you kind of get in the rhythm of it, you can make some pretty good skillets. So hoping to be able to do that. I'll have some extra, preferably I'll have some extra skillet blanks and some things like that that people can buy at class. So I hope I can have all that ready and done and be cut and good to go. So if you're interested in that class, we are expecting that class to fill up quickly. So there was a lot of interest in the last live stream about skillets and making skillets. And so I decided that along with trying to do some little ornaments and things, I would specifically try to focus on doing a skillet making class. So space is limited. I think there's already 3 or 4 people that are planning on attending. So you need to get with the contact link about that. You need to get with the contact person. Jamie Geyer is how you pronounce his last name. Real great gentleman. Awesome. Love teaching classes down there. He's kind of like the head blacksmith down there, an aficionado. Shop guy, maintenance, plumber. He wears so many hats. Director of blacksmithing. That's what we should call him. Director of blacksmithing. Jamie Geyer, that is your official tire. Not attire. Official title. Blah. Words, they're hard. That's almost up to heat. We got to get that really hot for what we're about to do. So go on, Jessica. Questions, comments?
Sure. Justin Ray, thank you for the $5 super chat, says thanks for the stickers from last stream. Glad they made them to you safely via USPS. Sometimes they take the slow train there. Alice, thank you also for the super sticker, says, how's it going?
It's a-going. Slow right now till this gets hot enough. It's about there.
Rob Huff says, we got to do something about Jamie's email, though. LOL, he's going to scare people. We just talked about that.
Yeah, we got to do something about Jamie's email. Yeah, don't be turned off by the email. It's where he works. That's his day job or night shift. Either way, don't know. That's his day job at Evan's funeral home. So, you just have to, I know it throws you when you're starting to email. You're like, is this a real thing? Yes, it really is. But that's his preferred method of contact to getting, people to get in touch with him. That way he could be emailed and he'll pick it up, whether he's at work or wherever. So, Yeah, Facebook's another way to get a hold of him. If you're on Facebook, you can get a part of their Goshen Blacksmiths group. There's one there that you can get a part of as well. Why don't you say it?
Well, let me switch over the microphone. Yes, Jamie's email, phone number, and Facebook page is down below, so you can contact him any of those ways.
All right.
Speargrass Forge, good evening to you. I am doing well.
All right. Okay, so this is hot enough. We're going to go over to the vise. I've got the camera set up at the vise, which is fairly close to the forge. Hopefully they can see that. Looking good. We are going to use a light hammer. This is a ball peen hammer. It's got a slight crown to it in the face. I'm just picking this up because it's kind of the lightest of the hammers I've got sitting over on the rack currently. But we want to use a light hammer because we want to dress the outside of this corner. If you use a big hammer, you're going to shove a lot of material. We just need the surface material to move. We're kind of planishing it up into a square corner, and we're going to use the vise to do so. So that hammer there is like a 14-ounce ball peen is what that is, if you're guesstimating or wondering. So we'll go ahead and bring this out, and we'll get it set up in the vise. And what we're going to do is we're going to grip this to where the leg and everything's in there, and just the corner sticking out. And then we're going to lightly tap on it this way to the corner, and that way to the corner, and that way to the corner, and that way to the corner. So if you're struggling with getting square corners, you can use this method as a very handy way of getting a really nice square corner very rapidly. Light hammer blows is the key. So hopefully you guys can see the sharpness of that now. Really was able to sharpen up that corner. Light hammer blows with a light hammer. That's the key to making that work out for you. If you have a big heavy hammer, you're going to spend all your time in driving material and less time working the surface of material. So now we're going to go ahead and get this hot again. We're going to get this whole area hot, and then I'm going to lock it in the vise like so, and I'm going to start driving this down. I need to upset some material here. I've thinned it out a little bit much getting this corner in here, and I need to upset a little bit more material in there to gain some mass back. And then we'll thin out the rest of this going forward. So I should state this while I'm doing this. Back to the main cam. Okay. All the while that I'm doing this, I am watching that inside corner very closely because right now it's fairly sharp. So if I upset too much material, that sharp corner is going to start tucking under itself. So instead of having this nice square corner, it's going to start tucking like this and creating a cold shut across the corner. And that is a weak spot that'll eventually crack. We're creating a stress riser through there. So I need to be real careful of that and watch that inside corner. Not so much the outside corner, that's not a big deal. It's that inside corner that can start lapping over itself and creating a stress riser that will eventually crack off right there at that joint if you put it under any sort of load. Since this is a hacksaw frame, this most definitely will be under load. It will be under tension with the hacksaw itself, with the blade, and then it'll be under load when you're pushing down on a piece while you're sawing on something. It'll be under load at that point. So not only is it under spring tension, but it's under the other forces as well. It's under pressure as well when you're working with it. So it's very important that you make sure that you don't leave any sort of cold shuts in the piece. If you start getting a cold shut, file it out. Get a radiused file or get a square file and file out that stress riser, if you will, if you can.
Couple of comments here. Ben Toombs, good evening. He said he just got back from having some great pizza and hot wings, which it seems like dinner always kind of morphs into the conversations around the live stream. Right? Speargrass Forge says, anyone else thinking Roy is developing a glorious beard?
Well, thank you. Thank you. I have a problem though. My beard, and I've been told it's because, I need to get some more beauty products in my beard to train my beard better. I don't really have that much time to put into personal care. I'm wearing a new pair of breeches. Go to camera number 2. Bam, wearing a new pair of breeches. That's my first new pair of breeches in 2 years. So, but anyways, enough of that action. Yeah, my beard always stays short and curly. So the more hair there is there, I've grown out my beard where I've had 6 inches. If I combed it out straight, like in the shower, I had 6 inches easy of beard. The problem is it just kinks right up and it goes up against my face. So eventually it stops looking like a beard and it starts looking like a dead squirrel that's been wrapped around my face. So not the most attractive beard in the world. I've heard that there's like straightening things you can do to like straighten them and train them, and maybe I'll get into that someday and have an epic beard along those levels. But I've found short and stocky works best for myself. I'm sure the comments...
They are. Rob Huff has a suggestion. He says, A little beard balm in the morning can go a long ways to taming the beast. I mean, I never show up tamed, but for work visits, I do. Smiley face.
That's funny. Oh. All right. I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to go to the anvil first. We can stay on the main cam for a second, and then we'll transfer over to the vise when I go over to the vise, okay? I need to straighten up a piece. Ready? All right, we're going to go to the anvil. I got to had a little bit of a crookedness to it there. Go to the anvil first, and then I'm going to go to the vise. I'm going to crimp this up in the vise, and then I'm going to work on upsetting that material down. All right, now I'll go back to the anvil. Straighten up my wonkiness. Without forging it too much. Now I'll get it hot again. I don't know if they can see that, my belly button there. I'm going to get it hot again, and you can see how that's kind of got bent forward. And we'll get it hot again, and I'm going to drive it down this way to re-sharpen up that corner, to take it down that way, to re-square everything. So that's better. I was able to get the thickness back in there where I needed with that heat. So we'll go back to the vise, and back to the forge here, and get it hot.
Dana Maggiore says, my eyes, my eyes.
This must be on the,
Yeah, it took them a few minutes to get them out there, but yeah, Ben Toombs, PG, Roy.
That was PG. It was for the public good.
Lewis Tibbetts says, how are you doing? Just got to the video. I was outside working on building one of your power hammers.
Awesome, Lewis Tibbetts. Hopefully you're enjoying those builds. For all of those that are new here, I don't know if we do have anybody new in the stream this evening, but for all of those of you that are new here, I have a bunch of blacksmithing power hammer plans, tool templates, bundles of all kinds of different tools I have in my shop, things I've made, power hammers I've made for home hobbyists, things like that I've had plans made up on, and you can find those over at my website, blacksmithpdfs.com. If you want to find more information out about those and help you get into doing your own build of your own power hammer. Oh, they are not in IKEA instructions, so they're not going to tell you to take point A and put it into point B. They'll have exploded diagrams, and they will have some parts lists, just depending on which plan or template you get. They've been drawn over what? 2 years, 2.5, 3 years worth of just different things going on. So, but a little something to everything. Got my main shop power hammer that I built for myself. I've got that plan in there. We got the Hardy hammer, the one that goes in the anvil's Hardy hole. I got just a whole bunch. If you're interested, you can go over there and check those out. If you're new and are looking for a wintertime project, it's probably the best way to say it, huh? It's like a wintertime project. That'd be the best thing. All right, what do we got, Jess?
Gordon Farmer Forge says, when is Roy going to get the flux cannons installed?
Good question. Good question. I don't know. Maybe a winter project. Maybe a winter project. But now, knowing what I know about the sign, that it lights up and changes with that app on whenever somebody super chats, that would be my luck. Somebody would super chat me, like you, Gordon, in the middle of my week and end up getting blasted right in the middle of a customer's job. And I think to myself, I'm gonna have to rethink that. I'm gonna have to make sure I put in some safety devices and some stuff so this way the flux cannons are only activated, for all you funny folk out there, during a live stream. I've got a plan on how to make that work. I do. So just have to, my dad said you should do glitter. I'm like, oh no. He said glitter. He's like, because you'll never get it out. You know, you'll never get it out of your shop. Be 20 years from now, I'll still be plucking out glitter from all sorts of places. So good stuff. Let's go over the vise, Jessica. I'm going to cool off one leg here. I'll be back over to the vise here in a second. I'm cooling off one end of the bracket so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to hammer right in here. Straighten that up. Just like so. Vices are one of the most underrated tools in a blacksmith shop. They really can help you out. There's a lot of talk. We can go to the main cam. There's always a bunch of talk about anvils and prices and most important this and that and whatnot. But I'm telling you right now, you'd be amazed at how much work you can get done in a vise in your own shop. So having a good vise is just talk about an essential piece of equipment to have in a blacksmith shop. It can really be the make or break for your forge work to help you out. Really, really can. All right, I can be satisfied with that. There's a little bit more straightening back in here, squaring things up to do. I can go ahead and work on that in this next heat here. I can actually get that squared up. Yeah, so we'll get one more heat on this. You guys see how that comes along.
There's a question a little earlier on whether the Pritrol hole or the Hardy hole being located through the thinner parts of the anvil there would ever cause stress in the anvil.
Here? Mounted in the center?
Yeah, they might have been referring to her anvil.
So usually these anvils, German pattern anvils like this one that have a Hardy hole, you know, that is in like some of the thickest portion or material. This is like near the horn. This is very thick. There's like 6 inches of material, top and bottom here for around the horn, and it's about 2.5 inches of steel around the Hardy hole. These are very well supported. Usually where you'll have a problem with Hardy holes snapping face plates or doing things like that is on thinner anvils where they're way out on the heel, where the heel of the anvil is really thin, or the tail of the anvil, I should say, is really thin. And then you have people who will drive Hardy tools, making Hardy tools for themselves, into that Hardy hole of an anvil and end up getting it to fracture or pop the face off or something like that. Generally speaking, that's not a problem in this particular pattern anvil. And a lot of different London pattern anvils are in good shape too. They've got a lot of thickness to them, so the likelihood of you breaking something or snapping a tail off is very, very low. I have seen people, for whatever reason, you know, have the tail of the anvil have a fairly thin anvil tail section, like in a hay button or something, and they will be using a striker and forging stock down into the Hardy hole to, you know, make the Hardy shank and make a Hardy tool out of, and just wailing, going to town on it, and that is prone to breaking that heel off of the anvil a lot faster than anything that you would get here with like Olga. Another thing that will kind of dictate that a little bit is the anvil size. So If the anvil's bigger, it's going to be thicker. Everything's going to be thicker. There's going to be more support around all the different various items. The lighter weight the anvil is, the less material, obviously, there is around a given shape or a hardy hole or a Pritchell hole like that. But no, it should not create a problem where there should be anything that, as long as you're not abusing it, as previously described. Should be good. Should be good to go.
Thank you for the super chat and question, Clay. He says, would you consider doing a video on post vise stands? Not sure where to mount mine sturdily.
I have done videos on, I have done a couple videos, I believe, on my post vise stand. I've got a post vise stand right now that I did a video on, I do believe, at some point in my collection of videos. And then what I previously had, you know, I went over my previous post vise stand that was just a wooden one. It was kind of clunky. I could always reshoot another video, something more current and updated, and kind of show off what I have done for organization. One thing I will say, I like to have things around my post vise. Sometimes stands are, you know, a bit neglected. It's just a pole to hold, just to hold your post vise on, right, with a flat plate on top. I tend to like to add hooks and places to hang tongs and other tooling that I might use in that said vise around it. And that comes from when I had a much smaller shop. I had no space to put anything. I didn't really have a free wall space I could just put all my stuff and store all my things. No, I needed to keep stuff around the base of the anvil. I needed to keep things around my post vise. I needed to keep stuff around my forge and everything really close at hand. Now, because I didn't just have a free wall space to put everything and its brother on, or a spare cart somewhere that it could wheel in. So that's something to keep in mind. Creating storage options on your stands around your stuff. You can really fit a lot of tools, surprisingly. So as long as it doesn't inhibit the work. You don't want something like on the anvil here, you don't want something that's up here blocking your accessibility to all the edges of the anvil. You want to keep everything down low and on the stand if you do that kind of organization situation.
Brett Larson says, Roy, I feel like as long as you aren't abusing it, could be extended on a universal aspect with just about anything blacksmithing. One of those kind of missing common sense topics. Yeah.
It very well can be. I mean, it is one of those common sense type topics. I'm going to move this camera while I'm thinking about it here before this comes out to heat, and I'll keep on talking. So yeah, the whole common sense thing is, you know, yeah, don't abuse your tools, you know, don't abuse your tooling, and, you know, it will last for you. Usually you want to work with your tooling under what it's rated for. It really does help you out in the long run there. You know, you can take in, of course, you can buy something, max out that tooling spec, whatever it's spec'd for. You can max out that tooling, and then it's going to last a year for you. And then you'll be like, oh, this thing was a piece of junk. It wasn't worth anything, and I only had it for a year, and the thing broke down, and all this other stuff. And it's because you were using it at max spec. You were using it to the fullest that you could get out of it. Not saying that you shouldn't be able to use your tool to its fullest or to its rated capacity, but just like with anything in a vehicle, if you are constantly flooring the accelerator all the time, eventually you're gonna have bald tires, wore out brakes, you know, rods, pistons, lifters. There's gonna be something wrong with a vehicle if you keep it revved up to the highest end, redlining it all the time. You're gonna have problems with it. Same thing with forge tools. You redline everything in forging, you're gonna have problems over time that just present themselves and continue to present themselves going forward. All right, go to the anvil. work at sharpening that up. This is kind of one of the most important parts to get right to begin with, is to get this where it needs to be and sharpened up. Got to come back here to the tail of the anvil, just for reach concerns. The more accurately you forge things up here, the nicer everything's going to be long run. It sets everything else up nicely, all the rest of your forgings. Beautiful. It's good to me. All right, so now I need to thin this out. I've got the corner where I need to continue to thin this out. So we're gonna forge this and stretch this out a bit more, the length of the frame here. But I've got that corner where I want it. Stylistically speaking, you can see that this isn't a complete square right angle, but I'm just doing that for the style. You want this square, you just need to push it back over square. So think of this like a Z. If you were to bend it, if you were to hit it here, it would bend this way. And then if you hit it straight down here, it would bend that down. And then that would make that a perfect 90-degree thing. And you could do that now. I want it to have a slight pitch forward. It kind of gives it more of that flowing design I'm after. If anybody can, if that makes sense to y'all. We'll set that back in the fire. Or real quick, I'm going to get the handle end cooled off. Been soaking up a ton of heat. Any questions, Jess? Comments?
Just kind of a side comment thread going on about anvil stand, vice stands. Somebody had said that previously Uncle Buck had made them, and then people were asking if he is still selling anything. You know, Uncle Buck's.
Yeah, Uncle Buck.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So he still has a few items that he's trying to finish selling off. So if anybody's interested in inexpensive blacksmithing tools like guillotine tools, Uncle Buck's Forge is a really good place to get them.
Yep. Yeah, Uncle Buck, we actually just came back from a visit from Uncle Buck on our way on through Ohio there, on the way back up through at his place. He's still got quite a few tools involved. Some of them he's saving for Quad State next year and you know, things like that, but he's got a lot of other stuff he's trying to sell out. He's not going to be doing his tooling anymore, so he's got really great prices on guillotine tools. He's got a boatload of scissor swedges to do, like the gate fullers. I don't know if anybody's seen those before. Ugh, I can get it out of my, come on you. Pull it up here for people to see. Come on. I knew I was going to pay for that. Ah, there we go. Whew. That was stuck in that stand. As you guys see, gate fuller we've used for doing pipes before. He called it a gate fuller. I call it scissor swedge. That's what it was commonly referred to. He's got a boatload of those still available. Things like that. Stuff definitely worth checking out, taking a look into, taking a little look-see-loo around for. But Uncle Buck's a good guy. He was selling stuff, I mean, just ridiculously cheap. There's just nothing else to say about it. It's just ridiculously cheap tooling. But he was just doing that because he's trying to support the blacksmithing community out there. Guys wanting to make tools and stuff. But yeah, he has a bunch of plasma cutout things, parts, tools. So definitely check out Uncle Buck's Forge if you can. How many people we got in the chat, Jess?
Yeah, let me take a look. Looks like we're about 45 minutes into our live stream. And we have about 83 viewers and 52 likes.
All right, right on. Smaller stream today, but that's okay. Better winning odds for you. So while that heats up, let's go ahead and give away something, shall we? Let's do something here. Let's go ahead and give away, a wolf head tong clip. We'll go to camera number 2. Can they see that? Yep. So I made one of those, made it a while back. Got a video on it, actually. like everything in my life, just about. I've got videos on. So we're gonna give one of those away. All you gotta do is comment down below. Let me go up to main cam, Jess. All you gotta do is comment down below. Just a comment of any sort, any kind there. And we will pick one random person to win that tong clip. If you don't win this one, we've got some other prizes as well. So, are we ready? Yeah. Let's do it. Who do we got?
We have Neil Graham, who says, nice tong clip.
Hey, Neil Graham, congratulations, sir. You won a wolf head tong clip. Enjoy, brother. Get with us in the contact section through the contact link down below. That's great. All right, this is almost up to heat. We'll keep this going. While we continue to wait, we're going to go ahead and give away a sticker pack or two made by the lovely, maybe I shouldn't call him lovely, the awesome, the epic Dana Maggiore. He made us up these sticker packs. We can go to camera 2, show them this. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what you'll be getting there. If you like some stickers, just comment, sticker me please, down in the comment section. Let's just do that one. That sounds like fun, huh? Yeah. Sticker me please. We ready? Should I give them a moment? Okay. Okay, we'll wait until we start seeing some sticker me pleases roll. And we'll draw at random for that. I should also mention all prizes are open worldwide. So if you're out of country and you win the stickers, even though it's going to cost us $14 to ship them to you, we will ship them to you. So no joke, $14. All right, we ready? Set, go. Who do we got?
All right, we have Chewy, who says, sticker me please.
Woohoo, Chewy, congratulations. Get with us in the contact section down below. And we're going to go ahead and draw another name for a sticker pack as well. We ready? Yep. Set. Who do we got?
We have Michael Davis, who says, sticker me please.
Hey, Michael Davis, congratulations, sir. Get with us in the contact section, the contact link down below, and we will get you some stickers shipped out. Man, my word speech, blah, 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 blah. My words are not good today. Really don't think of the words good. Not today. Not today. All right. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Make sure to share the stream around. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That way you can know when we're doing these live streams. It helps the channel out, and it also helps you out by knowing when we're going live. Otherwise, how are you going to know? Then what you going to do? You're going to sit alone at home on a Friday night by yourself? Sounds sad. Sounds real sad. It's better to be here winning stickers and watching Roy's new pants shots from the camera number 2.
What else could you ask for in this world? That's right. All right, question from Bob 1. I recently bought a leg vise and the hardened steel jaws seem to have come off. What do you suggest? There's a couple ways you can repair it. Easiest way would probably just be drilling and you know, doing like a machinist jaw type deal
and just drilling them and putting them on that way. You can arc weld them on, or take an electric welder and weld them back on, but I think that kind of ruins the aesthetic of a leg vise. I would just clean up the faces where they popped off, drill 2 holes through them, and drill and tap the leg vise portion itself, and reattach your faces that way. That's my personal method of what I can do. If you feel super ambitious, you can take those jaws or a new pair of jaws, get the whole thing in your forge, get it up to welding heat, and forge weld on a new jaw. But probably your easiest bet is going to be doing just the drill and tap method. That would be the best way to fix those jaws, and not risk wrecking the rest of the vise. All right, this is good and hot. We can go to the anvil. Okay. All right, we're going to thin this out in this direction. And then in this direction. And we're going to watch the shape transpire as we go. Just to keep the thicknesses in check. Planish up our lumpy bumpies. And now we're getting closer to dimension on that. Obviously, we've got a little bit more here to forge out, which we'll do. We'll get this hot again.
Dana Maggiore said the thing that he had told you about is now done.
Awesome.
Secret message.
Wink, wink. Awesome. Thank you, Dana. Greatly appreciate it. If you need stickers for your home shop, go see Dana.
Paige says, Roy, I was tripping over my words the other day at work. Funny part, I am an interpreter, and visitors found it funny, though.
Yeah, that would be the pits. It's like your boss comes to you. You had one job only. When I miss an interpretation of a word, no one gets hurt. or anything else, No one loses any sleep or their jobs about it. But yeah, I can imagine being an interpreter. I would fail so hard at that job. So hard. What else we got? Reading all the funny comments?
Yeah, it's a lot slower than I'm used to, because, normally with like a couple hundred people, I have to stop and go, but now I'm having to go back to see which comments I haven't answered yet.
So what Jessica's saying is you're boring. Start talking more.
It'll probably suddenly catch up, and I'll get lost on it. Ben Toombs, why do you feel the need to hit stuff, Roy? Do you need to talk?
I always need someone to talk to, Ben. Always need someone to talk to. And I always need something to hit.
Gordon Farmer says there might be a giveaway item coming from me, hopefully soon as I get it painted and clear coated.
Cool. Thank you, Gordon. Be awesome.
Wiley Rook Bladeworks says, methinks there will be special stickers for the Great Blacksmith giveaway.
Thanks, huh?
You never know.
You might think all right. I don't know. Oh. All right, this is hot. Let's go over the anvil. What?
They need a wood range to feed off of.
Oh, is that what it is? I see what they're all here for. Bunch of hucksters, I tell you. What I'm doing right now at this heat is I'm planishing out some of the more lumpy bumpies to try to compress everything to a nice size. That way I can tell where I've got thick and thin spots. If you leave everything wavy and bumpy like this all the way down the piece, it's very hard to tell where your thin areas are and where your thick areas are. Because what may look like a thick area might actually be two dimension, and then what looks like a thin area might actually be a 2 dimension. So you have to check it by planishing all that out and then checking where you still have thick and thin spots at in order to forge a bar out like this, nice and long, and keep it in even thickness. It'll really save on the file work too later. So that's looking pretty good. All right, got a little bit more forging on it to do. A little more thinning. That'll be in good shape.
Everybody seems to like the angle slightly. Nobody said no, they don't like it. I asked if it was distracting being slightly offset. I asked if the camera was slightly distracting being offset the way it is, but everybody seems to like it.
Okay, well, everybody likes that angle, and maybe that's what we stick with.
Rob Cornelius wants to know where you got those snazzy new pants at.
Snazzy new breeches. I got these from a guy named Chip Brown over at Brown Cow Art. He made these breeches for me. He's an extremely busy guy, so he's got a waiting list maybe a mile long if you do want to get yourself a pair. Oh, it took him a little over a year to get mine done. So.
I think he might have been referring to your regular pants that you showed off.
Oh, my regular pants? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I didn't get those from Chip Brown. I got those from the good old-fashioned Wally World. Hashtag not a sponsor. And I decided I'd try out a new kind, a new pair than what I've tried out before. They're a Dickies brand. So, hashtag not a sponsor. You know, I've been one of those things, somebody wanted a rant. I'll give a rant. So, I'll pose the question to you all out there. How do you all feel about sponsored content? So, that's part one of that question. I can answer the question myself. When I first started YouTube, I thought sponsorships were lame. I thought those were pretty lame. You know, you're a sellout, this, that, someone just getting greeny, right? Getting paid by the man, one of those sort of deals. And now, after being in YouTube for a while and having things where I want to upgrade stuff like live streaming gear, and I want to upgrade my gear and things like that, and even in the shop, I can see things. I see things a little bit differently now when it comes to, when it comes to sponsorships. Depending on how everybody's talking there, I'm sure there's a it's a very polarizing subject. So I guess you can read out some comments, and then I'll share my thoughts further. I'm not giving anybody a confirmation bias.
Yes.
Anybody sort of biases.
Let's see. Island Metal Forge says, I have 0 problems with sponsorship. Neil Graham. If it helps you, I have no problem listening to or watching a small sponsorship ad to the start of a video. Wiley Rook Bladeworks says not a problem at all. Let's see here. Yama says, of course, I may be biased.
Of course.
Thomas Matthews, if it benefits you, it's good. And Brett Larson, to me, I think it depends on what it is. Like the Forgecast has sponsors from other blacksmith vendors, so it makes sense. But blacksmith getting sponsorship from a game doesn't make sense to me.
Yep. Yeah, so for me personally, I'll wreck y'all's mind space for a second. For me personally, there's several ways that you can monetize on YouTube, right? You can monetize your content, your efforts to make a living. Some are making livings, others are not. You can make a living, or you can upgrade your camera equipment. You can better serve a community. That's the way that I look at it, is how can I better serve the community, the teaching, the element of teaching, right? That effort. How can I better honor that kind of thing? So this way, people are getting more out of it, because it does take time. It does take time, and it does take skill, and it does take practice to put out decent content. And also, it takes a lot of effort to put in teaching content as well. And that doesn't do as well on YouTube, obviously. I wasn't born with things that, the Ghibli bits, wasn't born with those, and, long hair, and, I'm not a game, yeah, a lot of the stereotypical things. We'll just say that. I'll just say all the stereotypical things that you see the most popular people doing. I wasn't blessed with those attributes, which is just fine by me. But what I have noticed myself is like the ads on videos. Those things I get tired of. I get tired of watching them on other people's videos. I get tired of the ads that get played against my own videos as well, because they're lame and they're not relevant. They're not relevant to my content at all. I could see getting an ad for, saws and welders and plasma cutters and, things like grinders and you name it. But, I got an ad just watching somebody else's video, completely unrelated. I believe it was Joey's video I was watching for male pattern baldness cream. It doesn't apply, And it's like you got it served once, and I'm like, well, I guess I know what ad I'm going to be seeing for the next 6 months. And so for me, I can see where people do sponsored content. In some channels, they'll do a sponsored content, but then they won't actually play ads against their content. So they don't do ads, they just do a sponsored highlight thing of a company that has sponsored them for a video to do so. And to me, I feel like that is a much cleaner way of doing a video, where you're gonna say, hey, so like real quick, I wanna tell you about the sponsor of this video and blah, 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 right? As long as it's relevant. That's the big key, as long as it's relevant, It's like, I'm not gonna, trust me, I get opportunities to, be sponsored for hemorrhoid cream and beauty products and like all sorts of other junk. So far, no one like Lincoln Electric or Hobart or Miller or, or Eng Yang or anybody has approached me to sponsor me with something I would actually care to use in my shop and would be of value to anybody else if I did a video on it. So yeah, that's one of those deals. That's my personal thoughts. I'm sure the comments are very
They want to know the phone number for the baldness cream.
Baldness cream? Is that what it is? Well, maybe I ought to take up those type sponsorships. I I didn't know that many guys were going without there, so maybe I ought to give that a holler. You know, it just, yeah, it's one of those things. I think that's where people kind of get to sounding like they're sellouts or this or that, is when they take up sponsorships for their channel to provide you the content that you want to watch, right? To provide you with this high-end content, but yet then they got to take on whatever sponsorship's going to pay them something that comes through the door, whether it be video games, whether it be hemorrhoid cream or whatever they're wanting to be a spokesperson for. And I guess that's where the terminology of sellout kind of comes from when it goes to that. I personally am looking for sponsorship from blacksmithing companies. Unfortunately, they're all a bit daft and kind of in the Stone Age when it comes to technology, and have not realized that, hey, I should sponsor some of the, like, it's cheap ad placement for me to say, hey, let me give you some tools, let me help support, you know, whatever you're doing, give you some giveaway items or whatever. Everyone's a little bit in the dark when it comes to that. So they kind of look at you like you would have a third eye if you were to approach, you know, certain companies about that. So I hope one day that maybe that we'll get a sponsor on this channel that will partner with us in doing these like live streams and being able to do giveaway things and stuff like that. It's so far it's been community supported. It's all been community supported. So you guys are the sponsors of this content, and you do that through your views, your watch time, your super chats, just you sharing the streams around, hitting the likes, and doing all of that malarkey. And Jessica and I greatly appreciate it for you guys doing that. One thing I don't agree with sponsored ads for, or sponsorships, is when you're reviewing a product or you're encouraging people to go buy a product that you don't actually use. That there is low. That's like that. That's the full form of sellout there. And there's many cases, I'm sure there's probably people already thinking of making comments of certain individuals online they can think of that may be a sellout or whatever. Keep them to yourself. Keep it nice if you can. But yeah, that's that balance, right? You want the new camera gear, or maybe you've got 2 or 3 people you're paying an editor to do your editing work, and the editor needs to eat, right? One of those sort of things. And so, you know, you're willing to sell your mother if it means you can keep your empire together. So, you know, that's something that I won't be doing on my channel.
It's been a
Not
There's a couple of people who have commented Flux sponsorship.
Flux sponsorships, listen at ya. There you go. Well, if Easy Weld or Black Magic or whatever wants to take and sponsor the channel so you guys can have Flux, then good on them. We'll do that. All right, let's go to the anvil. So long enough heat, kind of just piddling with it while I was having my little rant moment. I'm working out my thick and thin spots again. What's up?
Sorry, I just, Ben Toombs had said Mother Sales. Is that Amazon?
Mother Sales?
Yeah, is that on Amazon?
Getting that all cleaned up. Man, oh man, we're ready to put in that bend. I didn't think this day would come. It looks like I'm doing nothing, but I promise you, there's a lot of work going on to cleaning up this shape to save me from file work later. All right. What's everybody think? We gained a lot of extra length on that too. Let's go over the main cam. Not as much as my drawing, but like I said, I drew it big to begin with. We gained a good bit of length. And the thickness is correct now. So now we're ready to bend that piece down. Good?
By the way, Brute Lemon, thank you for the $10 super chat. He said, running late today. Did I miss any good Roy rants? Haha. That came in right at the beginning of the sponsorship Roy rant. So
the sponsorship rant. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Brute Lemon. Greatly appreciate you. No, I haven't missed too many good Roy rants today. Roy's keeping them pretty tame. Pretty tame indeed. Oh. Yeah. These are just idle things I think about going forward, you know, because it's like there's a lot of different metrics at play. Like for instance, when I mention super chats, like they're not a requirement. They're seen as a donation towards a cause. They're appreciated, but I don't want to mention them all the time either, you know. I want to acknowledge the people who super chat and thank them profusely for it because it does add and it does help out, and it makes sense. But I have also seen channels just watching around the web, and yeah, they won't even talk to you unless you've got dollars in your hands, right? Like, and I don't want to come across ever as that type of channel either, you know, like, so it's kind of a weird conundrum, really. It's like, how do you do things to where you can continue to grow, you can continue to add good camera angles, you can continue to make it sustainable and be able to do blacksmithing, do the education, online educating like this in this format, but not come out as a sellout, you know, not look like a sellout and not look like a money-hungry guy or whatever. And it's kind of hard to convey emotion sometimes over camera, right? Or over this way like you would have in a conversation. And a lot of people don't know you as well as maybe people who've met you in person, or people who've been around the channel for a long time. Because I'm sure people who are new here, it might sound like you talk about the super chats, like, oh, that guy, he's like everybody else, he's only there for the super chats. Or, oh, that guy, he's only there for the sponsors, or, you know, insert whatever the thing is there. And yeah, just something I've been thinking about going forward with the channel. Just wandering, ponderings, if you will. If I were to get I don't know, a big sponsor of the channel that wanted to pay me to make educational videos, that would be the golden thing, right? Where I don't have to offer a product, I just have to mention them, and they would pay me to do educational videos. Or the other most optimum is if I could get a sponsor to sponsor the channel with giveaway items that everyone drools over, right? Everyone wants, right? Like that would be the ultimate, you know, like get with a power hammer company that is willing to sponsor the channel with, like, at our yearly giveaway, our great Christmas giveaway live stream, to sponsor it with giving away a power hammer. Wouldn't that be epic, right? Now, I will probably have to be a channel of like Alex Steel proportion size to get deals like that at any point in time. But wouldn't that be awesome for the community if you could get something like that going? The question is what strings are ultimately attached to those sort of dealings? That's the key, right? Like that's the weird part. I'm just talking out here because I feel like I have a lot of my, I don't know how many people are in the stream, but I feel like I have a lot of my close inner circle watching the stream right now, so. Our regulars. I feel like I can talk about these things with you folk.
Yeah, it is.
Or maybe I can't. Maybe they're like, ah, shut up and forge, Roy. What's that?
About 90 viewers.
About 90 viewers. Okay. All right, so what are you doing, Roy, you nutcase? Now it's time to punch a hole in there. I about bent it without punching that hole. That would have really sucked. I was rambling on. That would have been bad, real bad. All right, for the hole in this piece, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. You can punch the hole round to start with and then drift it square. That's one option. You can punch it square and continue to drift it square as well. That's another option if you've got a good square punch, one or the other. If you want to be accurate to size, you would punch it round most likely, and then you would drive a square drift to size that you actually need. That would probably be the most accurate without ending up with a taper that you might have to file out later. But in this particular case, we are going to go ahead and punch the piece square. So we go over to the main anvil there, Jess, the anvil cam. Good? All right. I'm gonna set this on the anvil. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. I'm gonna try to make sure that the square is right in line with the rest of the piece when I'm punching the square hole. Take it out after every so many hits or so to let it kind of slightly cool. And we want to try to keep it in the center of the bar if we can. To get it to the one side, close enough. I'm going to try to get it on the other side as well now. Let it find its hole. And there we go. And I will go ahead and heat this one more time to dress that square hole up. Can they see that okay? I know it's pretty far away. Can they see that all right? Yeah, from that distance? Okay. So, the reason for it being square is when we put our bolt through here with our wing nut that's going to be drawing this thing tight, drawing the actual blade tight, we don't want that thing to spin around with the wing nut when the wing nut gets tight. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why we want this portion of it to be square. You want to have a square hole through there. We'll go ahead and heat that up one more time, and I'll finish drifting it to the appropriate size. Just using the square punch itself. Nothing special, just using the square punch. I'll go cool this off and we'll take comments, questions, complaints, concerns, more rants.
Maybe all of the above. We'll start with super chats though. Neil Graham, $10 super chat, says to help with the shipping of the giveaway items. Thank you very much.
Graham. Greatly appreciate it.
Also, Charming Hollow Forge says, sorry, I'm late. My penance, Roy and Jess rock.
Your penance. You never have to pay penance there, Hans. You and Amy are awesome and always huge supporters of us. Oh, we could never thank you enough. Welcome into the stream.
Metalman Productions with his super chat says, I'll mention it for you. Super chat.
There you go. Oh.
Brett Light. Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah. I wonder what everybody's comments were about getting substantial sponsors on the channel that like actually have really cool blacksmithing gear to you know, give away. Like, you know, like Uncle Buck, he sponsored our last Christmas live stream. Uncle Buck's Forge, he went ahead and sponsored us again for this upcoming Christmas live stream with 10 guillotine toolkits nearly to give away. So, you know, like that sort of stuff is epic, and it's awesome, and it's great, you know, to be able to have that, to be able to give that out there. You know, I mean, we didn't have to go out and buy those. We're going to spend a boatload in shipping to ship them out come Christmas. So my kids are going to be like, Daddy, oh Daddy, why ain't we got no Christmas presents? Like, because people need the guillotine tools, children. I'm joking. We'll be fine. We'll be more than fine. It's just picturing a little Oliver Twist in my head. It was humorous there for a second. But we're almost up to heat again. But yeah, I'd be interested in hearing what everybody thinks about that, because ultimately, like, that would be cool. That would be cool to find some larger company, someone who has the ability to, you know, be able to gift some really impactful tools. I guess that's what I'm saying. To be able to actually give away some really impactful tools, things that make the difference for somebody in their shop. You know, we're taking upon ourselves this year to give away 12 anvils, right? 12 66-pound anvils. It's not much, but it's better than nothing, you know. It's a 66-pound anvil, more than what I got started on. So, you know, that's pretty awesome. My thing, I was kind of hoping to be able to give away some Pettinghaus anvils. You know, that would have been sweet. But Roy's not made of gold, right? Roy's not made of gold where I can give away Pettinghaus anvils. One day, maybe the channel will be big enough, and I'm bringing in like those big numbers that you hear sometimes, like guys bringing in 50 grand a month. Oh man, watch out if I'm making 50 grand a month. Oh, see what I wouldn't give then. One, because I need a tax incentive, a tax break, oh, I don't get murdered on taxes. And two, you don't need 50 grand a month to live on. Like, there's no need in that. But man, the amount of impact you can have with that would be epic. So, all right, we'll go to the anvil. You there? All right. I'm gonna go over the hardy hole somewhat, just to get it started. Flip it all the way around. We want it to be, get this bent so we can make it. There we go. Get nice and square through there. Good to go on that. Now, there will ultimately be file work that'll have to be done on this end. So that's nothing to fear. Oh, we're just wanting to get most of the work done for ourselves, so this way we don't have to spend 97 hours with a needle file in our hand. There, so we got mostly to size there. We will file it in the rest of the way. And now we're ready to bend this leg. So in order to gauge how much material I'm going to need, this time around we can eyeball it, but it's also good if you can measure, kind of measure to where your bends are at. So we got about 2 inches there. You're going to have about an inch into a bend like this, or so, into a right angle bend. So you're going to have about an inch into that. So we could realistically think of this as about 3 inches off of the nut down here, or where our pass-through is going to be. That's where we want to start our bend at in order for it to line up with the thing on bottom. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to start a bend there if we were coming over, but we're going to go a little more than that. So we're going to do, come here, we'll measure. It's 5 inches to the bottom there. 5 inches there. Yeah, that's about right. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out center line, where my blade's going to be, which is going to be kind of going through this area here. My blade will be. So I'm trying to kind of figure out where I would like that to be. So that's roughly, say 4.5 inches there. So like I said, for that bend, we figured about 3 inches of material, or 75 mil. So we're gonna need about that on the other side of where this swells here. So we're just gonna kind of eyeball that, and hopefully that'll be enough. Now before we sharpen anything up, we will check that. We'll check those dimensions. That's 3 inches. Yeah, that ought to work okay. All right, I think I know where we're going with it. We'll see. We'll start it soft. We'll start a soft bend, and we'll square, we'll tighten everything up if we need to. And an aluminum ruler, pro tip, it heats up if you hold it against the metal for super long. I'm not gonna scorch my leg, I'm gonna go set that down. Pro tip, don't be Roy. Questions, comments, Jess?
Yes. Brett Larson had asked if you wear steel toe shoes in the shop or all the time or not at all.
All the time. I took to wearing steel toe boots when I got into the trades. So when I got into heating and air conditioning, that started my journey wearing steel toe boots, and I haven't took them off since. So, well, not the same pair clearly, but always wearing steel toe boots ever since then. Yep, do those.
Gordon Farmer wants to know when the question of the day will be back, and also he said if the paint doesn't dry soon that he'd just send you the item raw without the paint.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Great question, Gordon. So, Gordon Farmer asks about question of the days. Question of the days, I will probably do some more of those here soon. I know I've been lax on those. I've been a little bit backlogged. Been trying to create some new content. Been super busy, out of town, everything else with the classes and stuff. But now I'm home for a couple months before the November class, so I'm hoping to catch up with some of that. The question of the day series, it's popular, and we'll probably continue to do that as well. And I think it's helpful to some folks. So we will be doing those. I don't know how many more this year we're gonna do though. I think there might be 4 or 5 more episodes we'll do of those this year. And then there'll be some other stuff, some other projects I need to get onto. And then we will do a season 3 of Blacksmith Question of the Days. But yeah, great question on that. And also, thank you for whatever you're gonna send us. If you wanna send it raw, that's cool too as well. Take it any way it comes.
Hans said, LOL Power Hammer, is someone giving me away? And people have been putting bids in the comments for Hans.
For what?
For Hans as a power hammer.
Oh, to give Hans away as a power hammer? Well, we could sell them. We could auction them. Right here on YouTube. I'm not sure how that would be compliant with YouTube's terms of service, but I don't think they specifically say you couldn't sell somebody like that. Details. Gotta love all these peeps. They're a hoot. All right, we're getting hot. Let's go ahead and take this to the anvil. Yeah, that's about right. Go to the horn, sharpen that bend up a little bit. Yep, it's looking to be about right. Always start shallow and you can sharpen it up later. That way if you need to move it, you can. Yeah, if I need to put a little bit more down across the edge, I can to push it where I need it. All right, so this is where that light hammer work at the vise is going to come back into play. We've got that bent down, and it's running across where we need that bolt to be. I'd like to lie to you all and say that I did a whole bunch of real math and calculated this out and had a center punch mark on here exactly where it needs to be, but no, I'm just that good. I eyeballed it. Let the comments of Roy being vain and arrogant. Let the arrogant comments proceed. Go. What's that adage? Pride cometh before the fall. Eh? Oh, hopefully I didn't set myself up for failure just then. There's a good chance I just did. What we got?
They're commenting on how to ship a Hans, because Eric says, how do you ship a Hans? Yeah. Neil Graham says, in duct tape. Eric says, do you have to send snacks with it?
With it. Hans, you're just an it now. That's great. Let's get this all set up here.
Daniel Crawford said, Hans gets shipped first class. And then Hans said, small priority box, Eric.
Small priority. Hey, it doesn't matter how Hans gets there and arrives to you, just as long as he's in one piece and is functional enough to work. That's all that matters.
Justin Ray says, it's only arrogance if you don't have the skill to back it up.
I don't know. I've been called pretty arrogant before. We'll see. Oh. The funny thing is I've been called arrogant with no context of why I've been called arrogant. It's like, oh, you're arrogant. It's like, dude, I literally just showed you how I bolted down my vise. Like, I don't know what's arrogant about that. It's like, calm down. Calm down. All right, this is good and hot. We can go to the vise. I'm going to cool off the end that I don't need to move around a bunch. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. I'll lock that up in the vise like we did before. All right. Lightly hammer to the corners. To move that material where we need it. Right up into the corner. Ugh. And we'll go ahead and get this hot again. And we'll get everything straight in line. So I might go ahead and hammer on that a little bit. I got the vise going. Instead of fighting it over at the anvil, push that more square and straight in line. All right, get that hot again. It's all about getting that corner hot, but keeping all the rest of the stuff that you don't want to move out of the fire. That's the key. We get that corner where we want the work to be done nice and hot, but keep the rest of the junk out of the fire. What's going on, Jess?
Of course.
He's going to be my neighbor someday. Except he's going to have to move up here because there's no way I'm going south. No way I'm going south. Roy refuses to live below the 44th parallel. No, sir.
We have a Chuck Norris joke from Techronmatic, who said, if Chuck Norris was a blacksmith, he would use his bare hands as tongs and hit the steel with his fist. LOL.
Nothing like a good fist forging.
And Chris Renaud said, if Chuck was a blacksmith, the steel would forge itself to save the agony.
Self-forging steel. What fun would that be? I don't even think Chuck Norris would appreciate that. Oh.
Brute Lemon says, I think you would do good in Texas, Roy.
No, sir. No, sir.
Quote, one of your quotes, Wiley Rook Bladeworks, good advice, keep your junk out the fire, Roy Adams.
Keep your junk out of the fire. All right, we're getting hot. We'll go to the vise again. Okay. Go ahead and use this to... You could do a lot of work in a vise in this way. Clamp that down. Again, this is all in an effort to push that corner where I want it to be. Whoops. Okay. We're looking good. Nice and sharp. It's in line for the most part. Now we need to forge this out over at the anvil. Get this in line over at the anvil and forge out this corner joint. Look good? Can we see that okay? Yeah. All right.
Justin Ray says, there's your new sponsor, Chuck Norris.
I doubt Chuck Norris is going to sponsor me anytime soon. Huh. He might just come to Michigan and whoop my butt, though, for you guys talking about him that way. That wouldn't be nice. So watch it. Don't talk bad about Chuck Norris on my channel. I don't need to be getting my butt whooped. I'm a big guy, but I'm not Chuck Norris strong. That should be in shot, hopefully in focus. We'll see. Let's still be in focus on that one. Boop, boop, boop.
Yama says, I came up from 24 degrees north. You can come down to the 36th.
No way. No way.
Neil Graham said he was forging tongs and he grabbed the wrong half.
Ooh. Done that. Been there, done that. Actually, I've done one even stupider than that. I've been forging with tongs. Holding tongs get hot, dropped it in my tong rack because I have a tong rack that has all the tongs that stick up like this. Instead of reaching down and grabbing it by the handles, I said, oh shoot, I still need to get that thing. So I went right over and I grabbed it by the tong ends that I just got done having in the fire. Yeah, yeah. Real genius. I won the Genius Award that day. Real genius. All right, let's go to the anvil. Nice and hot. That's just about getting this all centered up so it looks good. Well, it looks pretty good tonight. We played pretty good tonight. Gotta give it 110%. Movie quote. Where'd that come from?
By the way, I was supposed to give you a little heads up. We are 20 minutes from 2 hours of live streaming.
Holy moly, holy. And is that actual time? Streaming time?
Yeah, actual streaming time.
Okay. Boy, howdy. Who would have known it would have took that much work to get that done like that? What do everybody think?
Birdie, I like it.
Looking good so far? Good. Not Varsity Blues, class. Had, I give you a hint, had Brendan Fraser in it. It's actually one of my favorite movies, surprisingly. All right, that looks really good. I'm happy with that. Give it 110%. Stop tippity tapping, Roy, as one guy said and complained in one of my videos. He said, I can't stand all that tapping, all that tippity tapping. Roy does all the time. Unsubscribing. I was like, goodbye. I am so sad. I'm crying right now on the inside. Don't leave. We were just getting to know each other. And then he promptly left. I don't know what I said. Was it the beard? Was it the face? Was it the Chad? Does anybody know that movie reference?
Thomas Matthews guessed Waterboy.
No, what Waterboy?
Blast from the Past.
Nope, close. There's another movie he was in about the same time. It was Blast from the Past.
Augie guessed Encino Man.
Nope.
Bedazzled.
Boom! Somebody got it. Cake guessed it. Bedazzled. Well, Cake, congratulations. You won yourself a sticker pack. Cake, get with us in the contact section down below, and we'll send you a sticker pack. I wasn't planning on doing that until literally just that moment. It was like, man, well, I thought somebody would have got it sooner than that. Made everybody have to work for it.
Yeah.
How about, was it the Chad?
Bob B&B Ford says it's not the Chad was great.
The Chad was great, or the chat? The Chad was great.
The Chad was great.
B Forge, can you can you tell me the movie? I'm a blacksmithing channel. What am I doing movie quotes? I don't even know. You're like, what are you doing, Roy? You're ruining it.
Yama says, that's a good idea, Roy. Movie quotes for prizes.
I'm gonna have a lot of people leave because of that.
What about asking really hard blacksmithing questions, and then like whoever answers it first correctly gets the prize?
I could do that. I could see that being a thing that happens in the future.
You have to think of some tough ones.
Oh, I've got some tough ones. So who's got the Chad?
Why is that Mickey Mouse?
Couldn't be further from it.
Dad's Pee-wee's Great Adventure.
No.
B&B says Charlie's Angels.
Boom. B&B got it. B&B gets Mr. Bob Bew, my friend. You get yourself a sticker pack. Bam. How you like that? And all you had to do was watch a semi-chick flick to get it. Thank you for sharing with us your movie selections. We all now know. We all now know what Bob is into.
Well, you had to know it first, and you had to know it well enough to quote it.
Shh. They're not supposed to know that. All right, this is just a lot of fooling around to try to get this thing perfectly straight and square. But to you guys, it probably looks perfect, but where I'm sitting, there's a lot of room to get that thing perfectly square. The more square you get in your forging stages, the less cleanup work you're ultimately going to have to do to the frame. Now, you don't have to clean this up. We could leave this simple. I said at the beginning we're going to leave it a simple frame, so we could very well just leave this exactly the way you see it. Simple, right? And then forge out the rest of it. It's really just, it's a matter of preference, whether you want to clean anything up or not, and how honest you want to be about the forging. All right, so I'll stick that back in. That there is ready to heat back up. Seriously, Bob won sticker bundle, so okay, make sure you put him down. All right, is he happy? Did he say woohoo? All right, let's give some more stuff away. People have been waiting long enough, huh, for me to give out the rest of the thing. How many people we got in the stream?
We have, let me change screens here. Ah, you guys went away. It's updating. 88. 88.
Too many people like this, Chad. Only 88 people like the Chad. The Roy. Which is fine by me. Which is really fine by me. I'm laying all my cards on the table. Look at that. Bam. Bam. All right. Give some stuff away while we wait for that to heat. We are going to give away another sticker pack. All you got to do is say, sticker me please. We're going to pick somebody who says, sticker me please, out of the comment section down below at random. I think we've given away 3 stickers, haven't we?
We have given away a total of
4. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and give away 2 more right now. All right, we ready?
Yes.
Are they saying it?
No.
They're not commenting at all. Nobody wants stickers.
No. Somebody said, oh, stickers. But
Oh, stickers.
okay, we got our first one.
All right, and here we go. Who do we got?
All right, we have, let's see, David Kilney, sticker me please.
David Kilney, congratulations. You won the sticker bundle, a little sticker pack there. Go ahead and get with us through that contact link, and we will get these shipped out to you. You ready? Want to go again?
Yep, we are.
All right, here we go.
Next is Frank Struck, who says, sticker me please.
Hey, Frank Struck, good to see you, buddy, on the channel. Congratulations. Get with us in the contact link, and we'll get those shipped out to you. Bam. All right. Now the next one's going to be, we're going to give away another wolf head tong clip. But we're going to do this one slightly a little bit differently. If you're in the comment section, get your fingers ready to type, okay? Get them ready to type. In the first comment that Jessica sees that pops up on in the chat window that reads, had a baby, eats a boy, all caps, in one word, the first comment gets the wolf head tong clip.
This is going to come down
You check it out.
the best internet connection.
Or the fastest fingers.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Had a baby, eats a boy.
All caps.
All caps. It's too fun. There's a super chat. Well, thank you for the super chat. We will wait.
Oh, Eric. We got an Eric.
Hey, hey.
We got an Eric who said it first.
Eric, congratulations. You're the first one to say, had a baby, it's a boy. You get a wolf head tong clip. Oh, I'm just being goofy right now at this point. I am glad to be home. I love teaching. I love going out. I love traveling. But not more than I love being home. I love being home in my own home shop and just feeling good. Just feeling good about it today. So love doing this. Missed you all terribly so. Believe it or not, I really have. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know who did that, but.
Getting distracted by all the baby boy comments.
The baby boy comments?
The baby boy comments. That was from Charming Hollow Forge, who says, need a realtor. Any advice on engraving tool grinds aside from your videos?
Any advice on engraving tool grinds? Like different grinds inside my video? Gosh. I would recommend, I'm probably not the right person to ask that, Hans, to be 100% accurate. There's a guy who does some little tutorials online. They're all in support of his DVD set that he's made that has teaching. His name's Sam Alfano. I would suggest him. It's Sam Alfano. Exactly the way it sounds is exactly how it's spelt. I've got a DVD course on his for engraving, and in that he goes over like sharpening engravers and things like that. But he has like short little tutorials on making engravers and what pitches they're supposed to be, and I found him to be a good resource. Another person online as well that you could check out is Sean Hughes. I believe he's an English chap from over in England somewhere, and he doesn't do a lot of talking, but he does a lot of illustration type work with his stuff. He does a lot of coins like hobo nickels and stuff like that. He engraves on. He's another interesting fellow to watch. He also has some like DIY like hand pieces, like how you can make a DIY, pneumatic palm engraver, that type stuff. I believe he has a few videos on sharpening as well. So I would recommend you to them about that. Other than my video. My video is the old kind of the archaic way of doing it with just by hand with a hand engraver. And for me to take and show you, I could show you by hand, but I don't have anything to set up the pitches per se to be perfect, like is what would be the industry standard nowadays. So hopefully that helps you, Hans. I'm sorry to have to direct you in the path of greater people than I when it comes to that, but that's the way it works. Can't know it all. Thank you, Hans, for the super chat. That was from Hans, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. So, all right, we'll wait. I'm going to chop this thing off because it's hot, and then we will give away the tongs, and we will give away the flint and steel fire starter set next. So pull this out. I don't ever hit my hot cuts. You can go to the anvil. Yeah. I don't ever hit any of my hot cut tools or any of my hammers, any of my chisels or anything like that. I never hit that with a hardened faced hammer. I always use a soft face hammer in 99.99999% of all cases. Trying to cut it mostly to center, just to save me from having to dress up any rags. There we go. Break that off. Ah! Maybe, maybe not. Woo-hoo-hoo. Shiver me timbers. Gonna brush this real quick. We'll set that aside. Boop. Find me a pair of tongs to pick this piece up. We'll get that back in the fire and I'll do a little bit of dressing to it, and then we'll move on to drawing out our handle bit.
Question from Cake. What exactly determines a soft-faced hammer versus a hard-faced hammer?
Great question. It's kind of determined just like in the name a little bit. I mean, that's the basic interpretation. You know, a soft face hammer is exactly what it is. It's a soft hammer face. Regular hand hammers are generally hardened. They've got a hardened steel face. So mine in particular is just a chunk of mild steel. It's just a big chunk of mild steel that's not hardened. There's no hardenability in it or anything like that. So that's what determines this as being a soft face hammer. If you get a commercially bought hammer, you can always, you hear about people heat bluing something or wrecking the temper by bluing the tip of something, say a cutting instrument of some kind, right? Like you don't want to blue the edge or something like that because it gets soft, right? And it'll roll over and it's not very good. Likewise, you could do the same thing with a hammer face. You can heat it up, heat the hammer face up, and soften that hammer face, soften that steel where it's no longer hardened anymore, and then you can use that as a soft face hammer on your projects or tools. Hopefully that makes sense. You can also use things like brass hammers. You can use, probably not mallets, not wood mallets or anything, but you could use like brass hammers. You can use other type of hammers that are made out of different materials, bronze hammers, stuff like that. Mild steel's an easy, cheap, inexpensive hammer to do for a soft face hammer. That'll hold up reasonably well to many years of abuse. All right, so this is hot. I'm gonna bring it out to the anvil. That's just to square it up. And this is to start forging down this piece back into where we create a shoulder. Kind of like a double set down. Dropping it like it's hot. And now we're just drawing out the tang material for our handle. Now I may cheat a little bit and use a guillotine tool to help fuller this area and create an isolation right at that shoulder joint to draw that out more expediently. I'll set that back in the fire, get it nice and hot again. While it heats up, we will put our guillotine tool in the vise. What we got going on, Jess? Comments. It's awful quiet in my...
Yeah. Frank Struck says, drop forged again.
I'm good at that. Not intentionally good. I'm just good at it.
K4479 says, have to jet. Have a good holiday weekend all.
Awesome. You do the same. Thank you for stopping in, seeing us.
Eric says, ooh, I should make a copper hammer. That would be fun.
Yep. You can use a pair of copper hammer would work. All right, while that heats up, let's go ahead and give away this great flint and steel striker set provided to us by She was waiting. So what you get in this is you get a little piece of char cloth, Comes with it. You get a striker in this pouch, you get a steel, and you also get a flint. That's all in this same setup. So not only do you get a flint, you get a steel, and you get a piece of char cloth to work from. So you should be able to start a fire reasonably well with that. If you're the woody outdoorsman type deal, I'm watching my piece here real quick. Let's go ahead and draw for this, can we? Yeah. They ready? All you gotta do is comment down below. Just comment something. Nothing funny, smart, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anything. Comment anything. I don't want it to burn up. Who do we got?
We have Island Bell Ford. She says, I'm a fire starter.
Yamez, congratulations, brother. You are a fire starter. You have won that flint and steel. So the next time you're out on the beach, forging away to your heart's content, you can have something to officially start your fire. Oh, let's go to the anvil, Jess. Oh, all right. Get this underneath here. Put my die in. This thing's not one to hold just right and perfect. It's okay. All right, we got that shoulder initiated. Get this thing out of the way. Get that out of the way. And now we'll be ready to draw that down. And we won't have to worry about that shoulder. Trying to forge up to that shoulder and not being able to. So now we can draw that out. Get that heated back up. Huh?
All right, Graham Pepper, thank you for the super chat. He says, I made 45 double coat hooks this week and started making twisted handles yesterday afternoon. Loving oxypropane.
Woohoo! Awesome. Epic. Thank you. Thank you, Graham. Greatly appreciate you. I'm glad that little enterprise you're doing over there is really working out. That is awesome to hear. Really is. That should be better.
Unknown Tanker says he'll be back in Arizona in mid-October, so whenever you want to come and get the stone for your hearth, you're welcome to.
All the way out in Arizona, eh? I think I'll just stay here. I greatly appreciate that. Gotta put a pair of tong clips on this. Make it a little bit better on myself.
Neil Graham says that's going to be a sweet hacksaw.
Let's hope. Let's hope. I'm inspired to do this because I did a decorative hacksaw frame class with Tom Latney. And then, like most of my classes, if I don't get something finished in class, I come back to reality. And the reality is I've got customer orders and they're not paying me to finish class projects. So I never finished his hacksaw frame. I've got all the parts and pieces forged. I just need to, do all the file and fit up and finish work to it and, put Humpty Dumpty together. And so I'm kind of hoping that this little hacksaw frame series, doing the spring-loaded one, eventually I'm going to do a jeweler's saw, those sort of things. I'm hoping that will inspire me while I'm busy finishing and fitting these on the off times between live streams. It'll get my butt into actually working on that hacksaw frame that I did in class. It's a heck of a lot more decorative than this thing, but doesn't matter how decorative it is if it isn't done. Oh.
Okay. Unknown Tanker wants to know if you're going to drift the handle hole as well.
So the handle itself will be a a piece of wood. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing out a tang that'll be threaded. It'll have like a threaded tang, or I'll peen it over on like a brass butt cap on the end of the thing there. So, all right, we're ready? Got the anvil? All right, drawing it out nicely. Out and out and out she goes. Where she stops, only Roy knows. Because he's the one who's forging it. Ta-da!
JR's Forging, thanks for joining us. And Dana Maggiore, have a great night.
Dana leaving? Bye, Dana. He's probably left like 20 minutes ago, didn't he? No, just now. Just now? All right, let's go ahead and draw for these scrolling tongs. Let's go ahead and do that. These were provided to us by Couch Forge Company. He bought them from Ken's Custom Iron. So you're getting a pair of Ken's Custom Iron tongs here that maybe we show them off in the side cam. Yep. Boom. Comes with a rivet. Just like that. I've forged them in streams before, and I've also done demonstrations on them, so you can look those up if you need to see how to do it. Ken's Custom Iron, he's got a whole range of videos over on his channel around his tong blanks to help you figure these out. So I suggest you go look him up for tutorials when it comes to this. Got some nice tutorials there going on. We can go back to the main cam. But we will go ahead and draw for these. The only thing I want you to do on this is comment a phrase, something. It can't just be me or pick me. It needs to be an actual comment, a phrase of some kind. So if that's what you want to do to win these tongs. So we'll go ahead and draw for those now. As soon as we give everybody a minute to start talking, start warming the thumbs up, get their thumb game on. They ready? They good? Yeah. All right, here we go. Who do we got?
We have Stephen Watkins, love Roy's new britches, LOL.
Stephen Watkins, congratulations. You won the scrolling tongs, sir. Get with us through the contact link down below, and we will get these shipped out to you pronto. All right, so now we're just ready to go ahead and draw this the rest of the way. I'd like to thank everybody who super chatted this evening. It really will help with the shipping of these items. Greatly appreciated it. Thank you for everyone who's shared this stream and has liked it and done all that. Everybody who's just been active in the chat and commenting, that does go a long way to help too as well. So thank you all for being here. Couldn't do it without you. Couldn't give away these items without the support of the community. So greatly appreciate it. And just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, the pit of my belly, from the full fervor of my soul.
Are you waxing poetic?
Yes, I'm trying to see how far I can push this before people are like, shut up and forge. We don't want to hear about that. Get to work, yuppie. Really, I'm fat and lazy, so I don't like having to draw things out by hand over the horn or the anvil. So I'm not waxing poetic, I'm just procrastinating about the next heat. That's what it is. All right, I'm ready to go. Go to the anvil. Good. Longer and longer it goes. Get it hot again.
Steve Singletary says, nothing like the Roy song and dance between heats, LOL.
They're a long song and dance, aren't they, between heats?
Neil Graham likes the silly Roy.
Does he? I'm out of agua. Do you have agua? I shall come grab your agua. Mildly warm agua.
I don't know how I got that warm, actually.
Did you put coffee in here instead of agua? Not the best tasting agua.
Charming Hollow Forge. Is he forging out where the Milwaukee Portaband gets mounted now? I just assumed it was a nice bracket.
There's actually a lot of times where I haven't had a hacksaw frame in my shop in years, and there's been so many times where I need to make the smallest of cuts, or I need to just split something just for an inch, and now I have to walk all the way over to the other side of the shop to go plug in the Portaband saw and cut just that little bit. I gotta wait for things, to transpire when I could just easily have done it right here in the shop, right at the bin, right at the post vise. I could just like plop and then a couple good quick hacksaw strokes and would have been good to go. So there's a lot of things that kind of like happen like that. I'm thinking, oh, I've got a bandsaw. I don't need a hacksaw frame anymore. No, it's a portable tool. It's meant for a certain purpose, I mean, obviously, if you got to split a lot of something or a long length, you don't want to be doing that with a hacksaw. Trust me, I've done it. You want to be able to just, throw it on the bandsaw and let it go to cutting, especially if it's a big, thick piece or something like that. But a lot of times, the things I need to cut off is I might have made a scroll a little long, and I decide, you know what, I want to kind of just chop it right there. And just having a nice straight cut would be perfect. And instead of having to get it all set up over at the bandsaw, I can just like quench it, cool it real quick, and then just right off it goes, which is a lot nicer. It's a lot straighter and cleaner cut than, say, a hardy cut would be. And so there's some benefits to having some hacksaws in your shop. Plus, if you can make them decorative, then they're a beauty statement too. They make you look like you know what you're doing, even though you may not. But looks are everything, don't you know? What's going on?
Michael Crane says, drink coffee. Neil Graham says, give him coffee. And Brute Lemon says, then he shall dance.
Lots of money later, he shall dance. Let's go to the anvil. pro tip, you always want to take and draw your tangs out a little longer than what you think you're going to need them. You can always cut them back to shape and size, but it's harder to forge out material once you've got a lot of finish work done. So always forge things out just a little longer than what you think you're going to need, and that way you can always trim it up later. All right, look at this for squareness and fairness. We are almost there. And this. Everything's squared up. One thing you want to watch for on this part is you want to watch that your handle is not tipping way up or tipping way down. So right now you can see it's it's reaching for the sky, right? So we're going to set that down and just give it a little pop to put it hopefully back in line. If it's not there, we'll give it another pop. Looking straighter? Yep, it does. Good. And so now we'll put it right on the dead flat of the anvil, give it a couple pops like that, and hopefully that's about straight. Perfectly. So now we want to avoid the body, and up here where we've done all this work, now we want to go out to the very end of this, and we're going to forge this cross section round. That's going to make it easier to thread at a later date. So I'm going to forge that out round and smaller, and then it'll get filed up perfectly round and then threaded to put a little cap, a little butt cap on the end. So we'll get that nice and hot.
I did forget to tell you when we'd reached the 2-hour mark, but we're about 2 hours and 17 minutes.
We're how much?
2 hours and 17 minutes.
All right. How many people are enjoying the stream, and how many people do we have in the stream?
Looks like we have, I think about 85 currently.
Right on.
And a couple of questions about the handle. Unknown Tanker says that looks like a long handle. And Neil Graham, any idea of what kind of wood you're going to use for the handle?
I've got some curly maple in the other room, so I might use some curly maple for the handle. Keep it simple. When it comes to that, it looks like a long handle, but there's going to be a decorative ferrule right here, right at the transition point. There's going to be a decorative ferrule here. And then there'll be, I didn't draw in here, there's probably going to be a bit of a butt cap or something at the very end of it as well that acts as the nut that tightens up the whole handle assembly. So it needs to be long, guess what I'm getting at. It needs to be a long handle in order to take that all up. Now, I'm forging it longer than what's needed, and it'll probably get chopped and, thinned back, cut back. But there was enough mass there in material, I need to draw it out to spec. However long that becomes, doesn't matter. I can just always chop it off to where I need it later on. So let's go with the anvil. Put this up on the diagonal, up on the diagonal, all 4 sides. If I can try to keep it right on the edge, try to round that up perfectly. It's really hard to keep it right on the edge when you're forging around. I like forging right up into it anyhow. Again, we're going to do most of the truing up of this with files. And I may have to take that square out of fuzz. Got a little out of square there. So I have a little bit of straightening work to do this week to get this exactly where I would like it. But you guys can kind of get the gist of what we're doing here. So can they see that round? How I rounded it up? So I rounded the tin in on the end. That will get threaded. Then my butt piece will go on there. Right now, if you can see right in here, I've got a bit of a Z thing happening. This is okay. It's common. This here is kind of collapsed. It's over 90 right here in this transition. And so therefore, since that went over 90, I tried to compensate with the handle. And so now the handle's running uphill. See that? Or downhill, if you will. Can they see that okay? Yeah. What I'm talking about there. So this has went over 90. So I've compensated with a hammer to get everything straightened back in line. But what that's left me with is that's left me with this piece pointing down. It's not, it needs to square up to the bar stock. So the only way to do that is with some fiddle work at the vise to kind of just tap on things and get things straightened back up. So this way it's perfectly square. But again, I don't have to show you guys that. That's just what it is, right? Like that's what you're gonna have to do. You're just gonna have to kind of fiddle with it until you get there. But that's the start of your hacksaw frame. Right there. What's everybody think? Yeah. So you see my hand on there.
Yeah.
You know. So I definitely have a little bit I can trim off once I finally clean all this up. So there you have it. Got cleanup work to do on it before next stream, and then we'll forge our other pieces that are going to go on here.
Speargrass Forge says he's loving the stream.
Cool. I'm glad he's loving it.
Other one here. Steve Singletary says it's always nice to see that with proper hammer control, you don't need a heavy hammer to move the steel.
Yep, nope, you don't. Just good proper hammer control, progressive forging strikes, working the different edges and angles of your anvil to your advantage. It's all about control there, gentlemen. It's not how fast and hard you can beat something. You gotta have the control. If you don't have the control there, you're just swinging wildly, and it's not going to be helpful to you at all. So at this point, I want to show you guys a quick comparison. Since we're over time anyhow, let me go ahead and set this down to cool on the anvil here. I'm going to go over and grab the hacksaw frame that I was doing in class with Tom Latney and bring it in here and show you what I've done there. So let me go ahead and put this back up here and go back to the main cam. And you talk to the peeps. I'll be right back in a second.
Good evening, Mr. Coffee. Violet Springs Forge going to give this project a go. Yeah, definitely. That would be a cool one to add to your tools that you have on hand. And I'm going to go over here for a second and pop up this screen we had going. It's kind of like just a filler screen. We mentioned this earlier in the stream, but Roy's next class that he has coming up will be forging skillets for Christmas, and that's gonna be just the weekend right after Thanksgiving. It'll be a two-day class, Saturday and Sunday, for anybody who's interested in that. And we'll go back to main cam.
We're on the main cam? All right. So here's the other hacksaw. We should probably go to the secondary cam. Can you do that? So here's the decorative hacksaw frame that we were making in Tom Latney's class. As you can see, I've got this decorative acanthus leaf on the front. You see there, it's kind of dirty. It's been a while since I've done anything to it. Let me brush it real quick. You guys can see some of the highlights. This has probably been a year, since I've worked on this thing. So you guys can see that front decorative part, hopefully. You can see the top parts of the frame. This is all one piece. One piece. There's no welds on this or anything. And then obviously there's a handle in here that was going to get peened over. So you can see why I say this here is a simple hacksaw frame in comparison to that one there. You see that all right? Yep. So this is a basic hacksaw frame. This one's a lot more involved, which makes it an interesting and fun challenge. This one here in particular, grab down here. This has a slot in it that a carriage runs in. This is like the nut, if you will, and it'll be threaded, okay? And it'll go through that slot, and on the underside of that slot, you'll actually have the sled that has the pin on it. So this way the blade can be tightened and tensioned with this nut here. And then it actually has a bolt that'll go through the front of it here. And obviously I got to trim that bolt down. And then you spin this bolt and it pulls this sled forward, well, like that. It pulls the sled forward to tighten and tension the hacksaw blade, if that makes sense. Can everybody see that okay? Were they able to see that? Busy looking offside there. I didn't know if they were able to actually see all that. So yeah, so that the bolt here, just got you can't see it from that distance. There's acanthus leaves that come up over the bolt here. That will tighten up, pull the sled along, which then tightens the blade in this hacksaw frame. So this one's going to have a lot more decorative wood onto it. I'll probably go with like a buckeye burl handle, and this thing's going to be really cleaned up nice and whatnot. But yeah, I still got a lot of work to do on this, mostly finish work to do. Most of the forging is done. It's just all the finish and fit up work, which I'm terrible at making time for. Basically, I'm really horrible about doing that. So as you can see, that compared to this is easy. This is hard. That's hard. That's easy. Hard, easy. So we're just going to call it, this is like the ugly stepbrother of this one here. This is like the Quasimodo hacksaw frame. We'll just call it that. So I'll just set that aside. We'll let that cool down au naturel on the anvil there. I'll set my pride and joy here that eventually I will get back to working on when I do all the fine fiddle work. That off to the side somewhere. Shut this down. I think we've given everything away, right? We've done that. Enough nonsense for the evening. Everybody's probably tired of hearing me talk.
No, they like it. They say you're doing good. Alice Harvey says, with that type of handle, wouldn't all that weight make it tend to turn in your hand with sawing with it? Or, well, it would for me, but it looks good though.
So hacksaw, great question, Alex. Alice Harvey? Alice Harvey, great question. So you would think so, but the weight of the saw helps through the cut. And most saws, this type of saws, you're not just using one hand to saw with this. Usually there's hand placement, like with this other one, I'll showcase. There's hand placement. You'll have a hand on the back of the saw blade, and you'll have a hand on the front of the saw blade, and you're sawing like this. So everything's in control. There's nothing twisty about it. With the weight of the blade, it kind of goes back to that adage of, like, if you've done carpentry and you use a manual saw in carpentry, it's you let the saw do the work, right? Well, this will help. That weight has the benefit of helping power the blade through the material, that extra little bit of weight. Plus, this is way more rigid than anything you're going to find at all on a commercial-wise shelf somewhere. And that's what really makes these grand, is because you can crank them suckers like a guitar string tight the blades you can and keep them running true. In fact, a lot of hacksaw blades, the reason why you start cutting and they go crooked on you is because you can't get the blade tight enough. That blade should be tight enough that when you pluck it, it makes a boom, it makes like a boom noise like that, almost like it plays a note for you. It should be that tight on the thing. If you try doing that with a regular hardware store hacksaw frame, they're going to bend and buckle because they're made really thin in this cross section. Yeah, they're really lightweight, but that's the other problem. They're lightweight, they're big, and they're flimsy. So yeah, thickness definitely helps when it comes to these hacksaw frames. Tom has one of these, has a hacksaw frame that I use. It's a different style than this one. I was considering doing it, but other people have done them before. It's where the thing comes off straight and just kind of arches down like so. And that's a heavy duty one as well. And man, that thing really does cut. It's completely different, just night and day different to like a store-bought hacksaw. Just that added weight in it, it just really, really is nice. It's really a joy to use. So, but yeah.
They say, what was that sound again?
Doing, ding, dong. You know, you don't want to hear it. That's probably not your metal doing that. If you hear it, it's probably a bad thing. So set that off to the side. Well, I'm pretty happy with the progress we made tonight. We had a lot of fiddle work. We kind of went over on time. So we had a lot of fiddle work to begin with that I wasn't able to do while I was out of town. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. And yeah, it's been great, I think. Everybody talking? Comments, questions before I go?
But it's a mild steel frame, ask Hans.
Is it a mild steel frame? Yes, it's a mild steel frame. This one, I'm not sure what it is. In fact, I fought this. This was some material that the school that I was learning at, this wasn't even instructor provided material. This was material provided by the school that we went to, and for whatever reason, it's almost red short. It was, I can't tell you how much hell it was to take and forge something out of it. Every bit of it cracked along the way. And if you could see it real close, it has a bunch of cracks on what would have been easy bends and easy things that I can do all day long without any stress fractures. There was a lot of little stress fractures along the whole piece that had to be filed out and things like that. So I'm not sure what material that is. This material that we're working with here is mild steel. So it's just mild steel, and you can do it with mild steel all day long. Or wrought iron, you can do it with wrought iron as well. That might also be another reason why a lot of these frames, these older hacksaw frames, have a little bit of heft to them, is wrought iron isn't exactly known for its tensile strength, right? Or it's not as high tensile or high stress. You can't put it in as high a stress environments, the same size cross section as what you can mild steel. So mild steel, you know, is a much better grain structure for high tension type environments where wrought iron is not. So, you know, wrought iron, the way they get around that is they just use bigger, just get a lot bigger. Softer the material, stands to reason, just make it thicker. So hopefully that answers that all right. We good?
Yeah. Yama says he's got to run.
We'll see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in the stream. Thank you for the chats. Greatly appreciate it. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here. We're going to go get some dinner and let you all get back to your lovely weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope everybody's been enjoying the content that's been coming out lately. It may not be much, but it's something. So I've got other type content planned in the future. I'm really excited about, actually. Got a lot of projects, little fall projects that I need to get done before winter hits us hard and heavy here around the house, and just some of the things I need to do in between working on my regular orders. So there will be some more build videos and some more, you know, forging content of some different projects. So I'm really excited about those. Looking forward to getting right back into the swing of it. So I'll be doing all sorts of good stuff in the future. So if you like this type of content, what we're doing here, make sure you subscribe. For those of you who aren't, I'm pretty sure that the 88 people here, they're probably all subscribers. If you're not, say, I'm not a subscriber, just am. Except for Ben Toombs. We don't believe that guy. Just kidding. Love you, Ben, if he's still here. He's still here? Yeah. He's a dedicated supporter. So anyways, yeah, so I'm going to stop waffling on. The Anvil giveaway live stream, that will be 2 weeks from now. So make sure you want to set your clocks and alarms. Jessica already has something, calendar events scheduled down in the description. So be sure to check all that out. And then last but not least, if you want to get in on that skillet class, be sure to do it fairly quick. It's going to fill up. If that is within your price budget and time frame that you can do something, it's going to be a great class. I plan on really coming up, and we're going to have a good time. Hopefully everyone, and I should be able to get everyone to a point where they leave with a finished skillet. So that's the goal, right? That's the goal of class. And like the last couple classes have been going, I've had some really good guys that really paid attention and like pick up on it in a heartbeat, and been like, uh-oh, I should have brought more material. It's like, okay, free forging session. It's like, you all did too good. So yeah, so if it's anything like that, you know, I'm coming prepared. Loaded for bear this time around. So, all right, that's it. I'll shut up now. God bless each and every last one of you. I hope you all have an absolute wonderful weekend, and we will catch up with you all in a couple weeks. You good? Okay.
No, hope everybody has a good night. Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you all for stopping by.